Robert, I want to have a conversation about Mason Mount. For me, he's been a player who has been very underrated and is finally getting his rewards this season. I think we've just seen much more than his hard work and what he's been putting in on the games so far for Manchester United this season. And I think it's time to talk Mason Mount. Now, a player who obviously is really rated by Ruben Amorim. If you look at the treatment of him and the way in which he plays, he's fantastic. He's someone who works so hard for the team. Three goals in his last four starts now for Manchester United. He's been absolutely brilliant. And I think when we do lose players to AFCON, I think it's time for Mason Mount. And I'm hoping Mason Mount can step up and give us some very, very good performances. Now, again, the game against Wolves on Monday night was a very, very good performance by him. But it's not only that, I've been impressed with a lot of his performances. I believe Arsenal, he started, he played 65 minutes, had a very, very good game. He played 70 minutes then against Fulham the next game, and again was impressed. Burnley, I thought he was good. So listen, he's had a tough time of it at United. He's missed over 50 games through injury. Amorim's been managing his minutes, but you look at how much Amorim rates him. This was, I think, before the Europa. No, this was in March. This is what he said. They said, I really love Mason Mount because I see him. I know how he suffers. I know he does everything right. He eats right. His physical aspect is perfect. He said he's trying too much. So he's someone who is very, very rated by Ruben Amorim in terms of his output on the pitch. Now, this is what Amorim said after the game about Mason Mount on Monday night. He said, it's not just the goal he scores, it's the way he plays the games, how he attacks, how he defends, he understands his technical qualities. You don't need to have many touches, he's a really good player and works hard. He knows sometimes he needs to start on the bench. And I think what Mason Mount gives you something to a Xerxes and Acuna. He's a unique sort of profile, and I think you look at what you do get from him. He's played the system before, and that's something that he talked about. But I think overall this season's been very good for him. He might have not got all the goals and the assists that you'd want from a £50 million player. But again, 12 matches, 3 goals. And the most important thing is just him starting regular games for United. It will be something that's very good for him. The fact that we need to see him play regular minutes, I think that's going to be the toughest thing going forward. And Amorim talks about how he has to manage his minutes. He played his first 90 minutes last week against Crystal Palace since 2023. So he's not someone who plays 90 minutes often, and that is due to the injuries. And there has been so many false dawns where he's had a few good games, and then he'll have an injury. But hopefully this is the sort of redemption for Mason Mount. And we're going to need him going forward. As I said, we lose Mbeumo, we lose Ahmad to AFCON. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for Mount to kind of step up, really. And again, this season, as I said, he's been fantastic. He's had a massive impact on this team. And yeah, he started 7 out of the 12 Premier League games. 3 wins, 3 goals in the last 4. I think he is one of our better players, and I think he's improved. And I think one thing that I noticed against Wolves is that he was dropping deep, he was making line-breaking passes. His passing is one of his best assets. I mean, there was a few passes that he made this season I can remember in games against Arsenal and Burnley, which were just outstanding. I think he does have a good relationship with Mbeumo and Cunha. And I think one thing that we know you're going to get from Mount is that work rate. And I think something last season that was kind of talked about mainly for Mason Mount, not even the fact that he was getting goals and assists, it was just his out of possession work. He was pressing, very aggressive. He'd win the ball high up. We know his technical quality on the ball has always been there, and I think now that he's adding output to the game, it's fantastic. You look at how many games he played. This is his third season at United. He played 20 games in his first season, 27 games in his second season, and he's already played 13 this season. Obviously, we had more games in the last 2 seasons, but listen, he's been very, very good this season. 3 goals, 1 assist in 4 games for Manchester United. 3 goals, 1 assist in 13 games for United, which again is decent numbers, but again, it's all down to him to kind of keep it up and keep going. I think he's definitely one of those starters for United. You look at this season so far. He started, as I said, the opening game against Arsenal. He started against Fulham. He started against Burnley, which we won. Started against Chelsea, which we won. Obviously 9 minutes against Brentford, we lost. 65 minutes against Sunderland, gets a goal. 61 minutes against Liverpool on the bench for Brighton and Forest. 18 minutes against Spurs. 45 minutes against Everton. A goal against Palace in 90 minutes. 12 minutes against West Ham. And obviously 85 minutes and a goal against Wolves. So listen, he's had decent performances and he's getting decent minutes. The one thing is you want to see him stay fit now for a good period of time. And I think he can add a lot to the team. I think his pressing is fantastic. On the ball as well is unbelievable. I think what he can add to this team is fantastic. And he has a good relationship with Bruno as well. And I think that goal that he scored on Monday night was a very, very good goal. It's great kind of link up play with, I think it was Masvari and Bruno, and a great run by Mason Mount. And he talked about how he knows Bruno's um gonna pass that ball into him, and he said he knew as soon as Bruno got it. Um, yeah. So listen, I've just been very very happy with him the last few games, and yeah, I think he's a massive improvement on the team, and we've created a lot of XG and we've created a lot of chances. But I think Mason Mount has been very very important this season. So yeah, very happy with him this season. I think again there's still a lot more. Um, there's a lot more to come from Mason Mount. I think he's nowhere near the level that we wanna see of him. But yeah, he's played. I mean, his own ambitions as well will be going to the England World Cups with England. He said he wants to kind of just take it game by game. But I think he probably does have his own personal ambitions, and if he can stay fit, go into that World Cup, and I think that only benefits United playing well. He got man of the match on Monday. He's looked good this season, and I thought now is time to have the conversation about him. I think he can be a consistent player now for the team. And again, if he's fit, I think he's someone who Ruben Amorim rates and will go straight into that team. And he's a sort of profile that fits the system. As I said, he's played that inside 10 before. He's been brilliant. So, yeah, listen, shout out Mason Mount. I think it was a good conversation to have. I think there are still rooms for improvement in his game, but I think this season he started off well. He's got some minutes. And again, he's looking like one of the first players on the team sheet, and I think he works hard on the pitch. Off the pitch, again, Amorim's talked about his sort of dedication. So yeah, I think he's been someone who has been fantastic for United this season and very underrated. But yeah, again, Mason Mount, Amorim talked about how he leads by example, and I think going forward, I think in terms of that ideal team when we do lose players to Afcon, the front three anyway, I think it would be Mount, Cunha, and Mount, Cunha, and obviously when Sesko comes back, it will be Sesko, and I think that's a decent front three. I think Mount offers that. He's not really a ball carrier, but he can make line breaking passes, and I think you have Cunha in there as well. We know what his assets are, and we have Sesko. So listen, I've been very happy with his performances. And yeah, Mason Mount to this is the system I've obviously played before. I got experience in that position. I know when to drop a little bit deeper and when to go forward and getting behind. As a team, we're definitely improving and we have to keep winning games. I thought some of the combinations were sharp and crisp. It's about us creating as many chances as we can. So yeah, I'm very, very happy. He's deserved that, and I think he's been a very, very good player for United. But let me know your thoughts on Mason Mount. What do you think his best position is? Is it that sort of false nine where he has played before for United, or I think most of the people are going to say in that number 10 position? But yeah, I've been very happy with his performances. His ability on the pitch is fantastic, and his output has been unreal for the team. So yeah, I think I've been very, very impressed by Mount. He's had a tough time of it at United, but let me know your thoughts. Peace.